All right, let's let everyone in. There we go. Admit everyone.
Here we are.
Good evening,
Everybody.
everybody.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. And all the regular faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These old and rare.
Nick,
pull out the best.
Dom, Dave, Paul, Alex still hasn't unpacked. Carl, Justin, Barry, Jason, Mike Leyland. Good. Marco, yeah. Rob joining. Jason just joining there.
Beautiful.
We got a new backdrop.
Yeah. How's this? Very, very fancy in here.
Pretty tech now.
Mm-hmm.
We look like a serious podcast right now.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
you know, #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah, Gurns is there. I'm gonna let him in. Take the waiting room out.
Looking forward to tonight's tasting, Jose. I have been for a while because it's been a while since we've pulled out some older rare drams, and it always has been your bread and butter, really. So these are some of my favorite tastings.
This is one of those that you know, big tasting. It's very difficult to. I think it's very difficult to choose to have right after Emmanuel Dron. Last week was absolutely epic.
Last week was a wild tasting. It was
Mad.
sensational, yeah.
It was mad. Dom, do you like last week's tasting?
In a word, yes. And in more words, very much, extremely, very much. Yes. The whiskies were exceptional.
He ran out of straps.
I ran out of straps. Yeah.
Use them all.
I'm actually trying to grab a double strap now so you can have one to each nostril. Right? Just one in each nostril to actually be able to just do
it. The version 2.0.
Yeah, that's right. Literally 2.2 because it's 2.2. Yeah, that's right.
The announcement of the new Whisky Abbey date, we'll have to start working.
New Whisky Abbey. You probably guys have seen that we announced Whisky Abbey November 12th and 13th. You know, so yeah, tickets on sale on the 1st of March. Don't worry, no one's going to miss out. Not from the ones that are here in the tasting right now.
No.
So we'll say we do a release for people to everyone that's been on a tasting probably for the last 6 months will get a pre-invite before and we get an email with a release of the tickets before we open to general public. So don't worry. Yep. Anyway, our capacity this year is bigger.
2 days.
2 days, you know. So yeah.
Bagpipes in the morning.
Yeah.
Why not?
Bagpipes, yeah.
Yeah.
And quilts.
Yep.
Yeah. Quilts
sure.
And yeah. You should wear a quilt.
Definitely.
Commander.
Be rude not to.
Anyway, all right. All and rare tasting is our bread and butter, basically. What a tasting tonight. There's a bit of everything. This is quite a challenging tasting to choose lineup, right? It's drums from all kinds, you know, which is pretty epic.
Yeah.
So ideally, the way we're gonna do this tasting is we're gonna start with the Glenfiddich. It's gonna go first. We're gonna go with the Little Mill second.
Oh, okay.
Ben Nevis third.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Lafroig fourth, Glentarret fifth, and the Talisker DT last.
Beautiful. And there we go. We put it in the chat. Spelling mistakes and all. Well, I might have done all right with most of them. But yeah, cracking
all the students writing down.
Yeah.
Tasting order. All good. All right. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, let's do it. So Glenfiddich, Jose, was 70s or 80s bottle?
This one is 70s. This one is 70s. I can't show. I'll show in a second. It's this one is 6 fluid ounces, 86 proof. So this is American proof, so 43%, and yeah, 750 mils. So 70s before the world started to use the metric system. right? So,
little bit of old bottle there.
yeah,
Away.
very musty. This is the 8-year-old. This used to come in a canister, in a canister. I might have the canister somewhere else. So 1970. So this one anywhere between 1970 to, I would say, or 69 to 72 could be. Could have been distilled. Yeah, very interesting. Quite your grandma's cupboard. It's probably better if you come this way.
Very, very much that grandma's cupboard. We talk about that sort of like almost the old bottle effect, or that like damp cupboard. I feel like this has got that like pretty much bang smack on the nose straight away, as we kind of expect. But there's a little bit of something there poking behind it as well.
Quite a bit of fruit in the back. So this one is sometimes these Glenfiddichs from this time, they're quite deceptive. There's not a lot to them. This one is actually pretty interesting one. This was obviously a very affordable bottle. Still now.
Yeah, it's one that you can probably come across pretty.
They made lots of them
relatively without having to get an arm and a leg over, and the caliber of it for what it is back in the day.
Yeah,
this would have been pretty well your everyday sort of drinking whiskey.
So quite sweet on the palate, kind of caramel, toasted butter toast with honey. Yeah.
Get a bit of a treacle note to it.
A bit of a treacle, toasted, butter toast with honey. Nice. I actually get that sort of bitterness of the honey, the end has. That sort of like.
And it doesn't have a great long finish, but the spirit itself still carries a little bit of length through the heat. Interesting, super interesting. And it's always good to have one of these sorts of, I guess, older bottles that might not necessarily be the kingpin of the tasting. We've kind of always had them with these tastings as a sort of ground starting point for the tasting and to see where it'll go from there. But I mean, it's a super interesting bottle and a poignant, distillery and moment in time. They haven't really changed much in terms of their bottling labels or anything. They've stuck pretty true to everything.
Yeah, what's very interesting is that this used to be an 8-point antler. On when the stag used to be facing to the side. Now it's a 12-point antler, and the stag faces the front. So they change the profile of the company pretty much, and they became a bigger stag with 12 points instead of 8 points. I don't know if anyone knows, but as the deer grows bigger, becomes the biggest trophy for a hunter is a 12-point antler, pretty much. Yeah. So, all right. I reckon we leave this one to, let me open the chat just in case I can read it.
We'll leave this one for a little bit to play around in the glass. And I mean, this is going to be one of those fun tastings where we're excited to chat to everyone about their thoughts about all the drams as we go. But the Glenfiddich just being the sort of line and length at the start, we probably won't spend as much time debunking this one as we will the others.
Yeah. All right. Little Mill Distillery, bottled by the Nectar of the Daily Drams. Bottled in 1992, bottled in 2013. I was very intrigued when I bought this bottle. Little Mill, Close Distillery, Lowlands Distillery. What do we expect of Little Mill, John? What do you reckon? We have had a few.
Depends on
is the affordable the distillery.
What you're going to get out of it. Particularly, sometimes it's going to be a little bit fruity. Sometimes you get that sort of like citrus note, lemon pith, lemon peel.
Yep.
Sometimes you get nice white florals. Generally speaking, you'd probably describe it as a fairly delicate dram. But obviously there's exceptions to that throughout.
I agree. This is very, it's a lot of hay. Green tea.
Some matcha.
Matcha, yeah. Some quite restrained dram. bottle of cask strength. This is 49.8. Yeah. Where are the boys? Ah, there it is. The Casa the Casa Couch Cam. It's I don't know if you see the camera there. Spotlight for everyone. There we go. Casa Couch Cam.
In their own little room out there as well, so you don't have to hear them in the background.
James made his own studio outside. He's our competition now.
This is VIP seating. I actually sell this seat to the person who donates the most to me from the tasting. So if you too would like to sit here just with Jono and Jose just next door, please send your credit card details to...
That's fantastic.
Think about name.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we should stop.
That is yes, the VIP area. This is the green room. Paul Leyland, I can see sending me private messages right now in the green room. It's
Paul booked the whole thing.
It's put it. Paul, you can get the Belvedere pack if you like. The Moet Chandon pack. Comes with 6 cans of Red Bull, Belvedere, and VIP for kids table.
You get your own James as a waiter as well.
Yeah.
I'm at your beck and call.
And this the $300 add-on.
Yeah.
All right. This is actually quite hilarious.
So that'll be fun. We'll be able to jump. I guess while we've got you there, boys, what do you reckon of they've gone already?
They're gone. Yeah, but they can, if they talk, they
can come back up.
Yeah. All right. Going back to the whiskey, yeah. No, a bit more caramel is showing up, a bit more I was getting a bit more like a biscuity and like what's called? Shortbread.
Shortbread, yeah.
Shortbread.
Because it's got that almost like light sort of sugar, the sugar vibe to it on top.
Yeah. Maybe shortbread. Yeah, I reckon that's shortbread. That's not the hay anymore. It's gone, the hay for me. I normally get this thing with Little Meat that I get hay all the time. And just like green grass or, dry hay is, yeah.
It's shortbread times 10. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Who wants to be the first one? Maybe, I don't know, Justin. How are you, Justin?
Gents, how are we?
Good, mate. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy Wednesday. I've never been a fan of lowland whiskies, but this is stunning, yeah.
It's pretty good. Not bad.
It's really bright, yeah.
Yeah.
Really bright, and I never associate that with lowland whiskies. I've always found them more neutral and very, palatable and drinkable and stuff like that. But the aromas this has given off is fantastic, and I'm using one of the blenders for it too. Main comment, you're talking biscuits before. I think they're called Savoiardi biscuits you use for tiramisu. They're long and they got some sugar on them and stuff like that. Reminds me of that, yeah.
Nice. I never had those biscuits, but this sounds very nice. I'm trying to think what tiramisu is. It's the one that has like mousse and everything, and
cream and espresso and all that stuff in there.
No, leave it there.
This is a little bit of like the old bottle as well is starting to blow off on the Glenfiddich too, which we're not expecting to miraculously change into anything absolutely out of the ballpark. But
correct.
Already we're starting to get a little.
And we got big drams today, so big shoes to fill. As I said, always don't finish all your drams. We keep on revisiting them, and we try to give them a lot of time each.
This will be one of those tastings where I think it'll be beneficial for us to get most of these drams out in front of us fairly early on in the first sort of 45 minutes or so, and spend at least 45 with all of them out there chatting about them, because there's going to be some interesting changes, and particularly as we get onto a couple of these middle of the tasting drams, there's some stuff that's really going to develop and be quite interesting here. And one of them is, of course, going to be the Ben Nevis, which we might pour now and start
one day for chains. And Ben Nevis 1996, Zanzibar, we all know these Ben Nevis 1996s. Over the years, we drank many of them, right? And it's like, it's one of those fantastic vintages from Ben Nevis. We were lucky we were able to bottle 2 of them. We also bottled 1997 back then. That was our first bottling.
Yeah.
You know, that's for you.
Oh, thank you. That's for you.
Thank you.
And well, yeah, I mean, it's a year distillery we're pretty familiar with. We've always loved it. This one is a bottle that kicked around a couple of years ago.
Yes, correct.
Casa Vinos, and we might have tasted once or twice. I think perhaps in like a cask strength tasting, probably over 2 years ago now. This one was
so, maybe.
Yeah. But it's an absolutely stunning Ben Nevis. And
it's one of those bottles that I regret selling all my stock back then. And in the last list, Jens had 3 bottles left, and I bought them all. No, I ordered like 12, but there was only 3 left, and I took them all, which is sensational. And this is a classic.
Oh yeah,
it's not that old, but this will become a legendary vintage of Ben Nevis. In let's say in like 20 more years, you know, we'll still be here. Let's say 1996 Ben Nevis will be like, oh, you remember those? Like when you hear people from Emmanuel talking about, you know, the Taliskers or Lafroys from the 70s, and the 20s, things like that, you know, legendary whiskeys. Yeah. This is pure fruit. And
how good is it? And how unctuous is the palate? It's absolutely just super duper robust, beautiful length.
Let's see what Carl thinks. How are you, Carl? Thanks for joining again.
No worries. Thank you for having me. It's great fun as usual. Fantastic. Yeah, classic Ben Nevis for me. Sort of, you know, bit of fruit in there, but a real bit of heft on the palate. And what I noticed is that after the Ben Nevis, the Little Mill and the Glenfiddich, the nose on both of them just seem to pop. It's just, it's really done wonders for those 2. Yeah, it's great.
That's true. And one of the things that I see on this a lot on this Ben Nevis is I always talk about the milk bottles. I love that descriptor. The milk bottles.
Milk bottles, yes.
The milk bottles. You know,
that confectionery sweetness. That's a really good call.
Confectionery sweetness.
It's and that's it. That's really twofold. I think the younger Ben Nevis is like the Artist Collector's Ben Nevis 7 that we had that was pretty popular, and a few of the younger, the 10-year-old signatory vintages who have tried. It's funny, they have that that fruity taste, but it's not like milk bottle-y or that much of
it has more
dairy.
It's more banana.
It's more banana, like sweet tropical fruits. These ones feel a little bit more delicate and in turn I think complex as well.
Now I'm getting a bit on the Little Mill, a bit of like cheddar cheese or something like that, or like
that could be my dinner.
Jarlsberg.
Oh, a little Swiss.
Yeah. You know when it's like not really aged, but it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, like that. So I like Jarlsberg. It sounds really bad because it's not. I actually do enjoy Jarlsberg a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to always stick to finer cheeses in life. You can just go for whichever one.
It's like Jarlsberg could be. It's like I don't know how to. It's like the Coca-Cola of cheese. It's like
it's
really good.
LA Ice of cheese, maybe.
What's LA Ice?
It's like Australian home brand.
And Glenfiddich's still kicking there, surprisingly.
Yeah. Old bottle's gone away for me, and it's like a lot of fruit, poking through orchard fruits, apples and pears.
I would say oxidized apples, yes.
Yeah. It's one of those things as well. Like, you ever got a bottle like that that's got all that old bottle effect going on? Because as soon as we poured that one, it was pretty obtrusive to me, but now it's definitely it's quite enjoyable. So maybe that's the trick.
Racing, says Rob. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, let's say the VIP area there.
Yeah. Casa couch
you know, the Casa couch.
as long as they keep their clothes on.
Yes. Hello, gents. They talk too much. They're not listening.
Yeah.
They get.
Yes. Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, we're doing well.
How's the VIP going? They already came with sandwiches and everything else.
Sandwiches. Well, we've been eyeing Jono's dinner actually. It's for anyone who doesn't see this. It's the best and the most heartbreaking thing happening at the moment. There's this wall of glass between Jono and his food, and they're just staring at each other, and it's so sad, but it's kind of beautiful as well. Like Romeo and Juliet.
There could be a wall of glass between Jono and me eating his food, but you know.
Well, you're closer than it is.
It gets a little bit grainy. We might have to lower his resolution.
Yeah, maybe.
I think we should probably mute ourselves now.
What's your thoughts on the?
What's your thoughts on the 3 drams?
My dinner aside.
On the whiskey,
On the 3 drams, yeah.
Yeah.
Grandma's Cupboard was a good descriptor for the first one. Quite musty. Got a lot of toasted coconut on the nose of the, like that desiccated coconut, just a little bit of time in a pan on the little mill, but it didn't really come through on the palate. More like much more grassy on the palate. Ben Nevis is delicious. It's almost, if someone hadn't told me it was a bourbon cask, you could have almost fooled me it was a sherry cask. There's some of those sort of deep, rich type, almost in the rancio direction type notes.
You just got cut out. It's okay. We just can't hear you. He's probably got disconnected.
Yeah, like there's something dank going on. Like I can't. We got disconnected.
You can't hear him.
No, your internet connection is unstable.
Our internet connection is unstable.
I think that dank rancio note's very interesting. And Jose, in your 1996 Mad Max bottling, that was pretty rancio and dank, phenolic.
That's a pure sherry, yeah. That was but this one is
well, it's bright and fruity, but
it was could be a very like a refill or something like that.
Yeah.
We only think we know. This is it would only say Hogshead, not even that. Single cask, Highland, and nothing else. Yeah, not clarified. So most likely just a Hogshead. Who knows what? You know.
But these Ben Nevises are so good, and I hope that we keep on being able to get them.
Yeah, I'm not getting the rancio like the same with but yeah, like Dom saying he doesn't get the rancio. I don't get the rancio either. But it's okay.
It was always one of those whiskeys back 2, 3, 4 years ago that were pretty readily available, right, for an independent bottler. But in the last couple of years, it's now everyone's figured out that these whiskeys are the absolute bee's knees, and perhaps some people are holding them, waiting to see what these are like in an older age statements. So
we did. It was our Ben Nevis 21-year-old the bourbon cask, which is amazing. It took a while to sell, and then suddenly Serge gave it like 91 points, and it went on a spree.
Yeah,
it's like crazy. Luckily, we had enough time to put some bottles aside for us for the years to enjoy. But I wish I had more.
Yeah,
you never know how limited these bottles are going to turn out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those ones.
And when they're going to offer you a cask of the similar vintage, it's kind of sad. Yeah,
that Ben Nevis tasting we did last year was absolutely sensational. I think we'll have to do one here in store as well sometime this year because
it had from the guy from the visitor center. What was his name?
Someone will remember with a better memory than me.
Yeah, I got it on email. That was good. That was good tasting. He didn't taste the whiskey, so he couldn't. So working or something. He tasted them later. I spent cost me like $200 to send like 5 samples to Scotland.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't taste them. I could have sent him anything. Yeah. Shags. We all mate. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name. I can't. It will come back to me anyway. All right. time for a Lafroy.
All right, let's just get into the territory now. We're going to get into it. I'm loving this little mill as well. It's now started to kick along for me.
Yeah. So
That's the Ben Nevis.
Ben Nevis.
Yeah.
I already gave you the Ben Nevis.
You did. I'm here for Lafroy.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Jumping the gun. He heard Lafroy.
I get they do motions to my left side, and I get like, what's going on? You know, what's happening?
Yeah. So Lafroy, the perfect dram, quite an old bottling, or not old, but in terms of you've held on to it for a fair few years, 10 years now, I guess.
Yeah, this one is 1996, bottled in 2009. This is an outstanding whiskey for me. And when we opened this bottle, it was like, this is the closest I've seen, some of these young Lafroigs to. And this one, trust me, you gotta leave this whiskey for at least, a good half an hour to lose all the smoke. And it will eventually lose all the smoke, and it will become an amazing fruit bomb.
But I mean, as it is,
56.9%.
Cracking dram. So this is the perfect dram.
The
perfect dram being the whiskey agency, not Nectar, for the JV Drams, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And distilled 1996, bottled 2009. Sweet iodine and a Pebble Beach is what they say on the label.
Sweet iodine on a Pebble Beach. This one is one of those that you need to nose very slowly, but in a steady length. And then you stop smelling the smoke, and then you start smelling just the fruit behind.
A little bit like playing the recorder. Oh,
yeah, it starts to get there.
Wow, when that
toasted bread now.
When that fruit pops through, it's just next level, because you're right. You do just like slowly smell, and then after 5 or 6 seconds,
it's like toasted brioche.
The fruit pops out, and the fruit's like guava, tropical delight. It's amazing.
It makes the Ben Nevis stand out even more than fruity.
Oh wow! Hey. Now we're talking. And the palate as well. Quite maritime palate, but still those slightly fruity notes popping through as well.
It smells a lot older than it actually is. It's like very, it tastes a lot older. It's really, really nice.
Really brings out the malt and the grain and on the Ben Nevis. Makes it toasty and brioche bun-esque croissant. Takes away a bit of the fruit on the Ben Nevis.
I would like to ask our Gold Coast correspondent,
whose Instagram name is Lafroig.
Yeah.
At Gold Coast.
Lafroig Gold Coast. Lafroig.Gold Coast official _ official.
Both love and hate you for introducing me
to Lafroig.
So it's quite nice, isn't it?
It's a very simple bottle, but it's like just super bright and pretty,
Well, these perfect dram bottlings are getting some pretty crazy pricing now.
Yeah. Well, people know what it is. Before, people never used to know. Maybe we should stop showing people. We shot ourselves on the foot making these tastings online and telling people about these things. And
Lafroig. Thanks, Dad.
Lafroig. You can change your name. Yeah, Lafroig. Yeah, Leyland. No, Lafroig. If you go to visit Scotland, you just change your name.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to do it. I'm glad you like that one, Paul. Don't think it'll last in your glass for long, though.
Salty, rich. It's very Moorish too.
Oh yeah.
Really salty. Gives it that Quite a marine one, this one.
Yeah, the palate.
It's not dirty, it's just pretty fruity and sweet. No dirty smoke, no, well, 56%, so no, it's still not edgy, it's just right.
No, great length.
Yeah. Let's see, who else do we reckon we ask? Uzalo, Alex. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you? I just had to find the unmute button. It's very good.
Fun with who? With someone else?
No, I just had it on mute and then I lost my mouse on my screen. But it's all good.
One of your boxes.
Yeah, the boxes are going to stay there for a while. I'll probably be shifting around again soon, so you have to wait a little while until it's all unpacked. But
we don't mind, don't worry.
No.
I thought John was saying that he's going to go and help you unpack. That would be the least I would do.
Yeah, good. I hope so. You have the reason the boxes are there. So the frog's very good. Very fruity. Bit of smoke on it. I've had mine open for a little while now, so a lot of that ash has come off the top of it. It's incredibly fruity. Definitely the tropical fruits as well.
Yeah. La fruit is these Lafroigs are quite surprising. Sometimes you buy these independent bottles, 12-year-old, 14-year-old, and you're good. Sometimes they are just hot mess.
Yeah, well, I mean, these ones are, we're talking about a 1996 distillation.
And also we're talking about the whiskey agency. So it's like a double yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then I guess it's in the 2000s.
If you get a 12-year-old from Caden Heads, if there is something like this on this dime or everything, it will probably break your face. Yeah, it will be like hot, different style, Caden Head than these times. Back in 2009, they were bottling really hot stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
late 2000s.
It's mid 90s. It's before like Lefroy maybe started really playing around with different casks.
Yeah.
This is like early mid 2010s when it was, let's start having a go at some interesting casks and doing various things and everything that's come with that. But you could pretty well guarantee that you're going to get a bourbon barrel of this quality, back then.
Oh, the nose of these. I'm one of those that think that suddenly a whiskey like this, even so young and everything, steals the law. Like my end. I'm going back to the other ones, but
the Little Mill, those sort of like slight white flowers are starting to pop through for me. Maybe a little bit of that like a peach note too. Just thanks to the fruit.
The palate of the Little Mill. But the Ben Nevis, it's like it's a biscuit now. It's a bit like Mars bars, maybe. No, Maltesers. Is that sort of crunchy? Ben Nevis, Maltesers. It's like milk chocolate with like a crunchy bit, or the crunch.
Yeah, I know.
Maltesers or crunch.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Shan, look at Shan there. Shan and Guns. There's someone else in there.
Yeah.
There's three of you. How are you, boys? What's been happening?
Oh, having a great time. Got a newcomer in here. We're just chatting a little bit about what the lap's doing to everything else. It's just changed the game.
Changed the game.
Yeah.
It is true. Yeah.
It has a tendency to do that. What about the other drams, Sean? Has there been a couple of other favourites amongst the team there so far?
Look, I think the Nevis was probably pretty popular. Yeah, I don't know. Stick your minds, boys. Yeah, I think we've started with a really a fruity dram, and then I'll come back to it, and it's died off a lot after the Lafroig. I went back to it after we tried the second dram, the little mill, and then it almost turned into a Christmas cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's good cold Gurns.
And this is Moose from Canada.
Moosey from Canada.
G'day, yeah.
How are you, Moose?
Good to meet you, mate.
I'm well. I'd like to thank these guys for inviting me to will be my first official tasting, as it is. So, yeah, good company, and
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining.
Good to have you, Moose.
Yeah.
You got great drams
You've
today.
jumped in the deep end here.
Yeah.
You're struggling to find most of these at a lot of bars.
Yeah.
Not doing it by halves, that's for sure.
yeah.
Good stuff. Good to see the New South Wales crew there, soaking in those last few rays of sun. Cheers, boys. Enjoy the tasting.
So let's do a little recap before we go into the Glenturret.
Sounds like an absolute plan to me.
Yeah.
So first dram, Jose, Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich, 12 years old.
12 or
8 years old, sorry. 1970s.
As soon as it went into the glass tonight, it was quite that old bottle effect. Grey Ice cupboard as a few.
It's clean up a lot now.
Yeah, they described it. With the help of a lot of these drams, that old bottle effect's blown off and it's quite fruity, you know?
That's a palate cleanser now.
Yeah.
Palate cleanser. I don't know, the palate cleanser. It's like a sander or something like that.
Yeah. So it's yeah, the palate cleanser might be interesting.
Palate. Sorry.
The palate cleansers are something that you sand with, isn't it?
Yeah, like a brush.
Onto the little mill. Early in a tasting to have a little mill, I guess that's probably, it's the caliber of the drams we're having tonight, but this one's going to keep on continuing to open up as well. Very, very delicate and
I get in the biscuit again.
In the little mill now.
Yeah. For me, it's like shortbread, biscuit, Maria crackers, Mariah. You know, we call them Maria, not Mariah.
Mariah Carey crackers.
Stop saying Mariah. It's Maria. I was like, I had this discussion with my wife for that time. Mariah, what's the Mariah? It's not Mariah, it's Maria cracker.
Maria Carey.
No, the crackers.
I know. But...
Maria Carey. Yeah, Maria Carey. Yeah, Maria Carey.
No, it's Mariah.
It's not Mariah. Mariah is, Jesus didn't speak English, neither Mariah did, right? Was
the little Jose, how do you pronounce target then? Are you a Target man or a Target man?
A target. No, target. No, in Spanish would be target. Target would be the French. Target. No, target. Yeah, Maria. Mariah.
Coconut.
All right. Ben Nevis. Target. Still going out with backpackers. Sorry. Ben Nevis is I just remember a rep we had. Anyway. Save me here, John. Dulce de leche.
Is that Malteser note, that crushed Malteser that we were talking about before? I think it's that, and as you work through them, Ben Nevis might just like relax a little bit, or that fruit that was there straight away is blowing off, and it's turned into more of like perhaps a desserty note. I get like buttered, almost a little bit burnt croissants from it.
Yeah, brioche bun,
like, really,
sort of.
really like it.
Butter filo or like croissant, yeah, that's brioche. I get that now that you mention it. Toasted croissant. It's maybe just I'm hungry altogether. Yeah. And the Lafroy.
A little bit like a lamb roast with
yeah. And the Lafroy. The Lafroy is pretty epic. What more can I say? I don't want to say too much about this one. No,
it could be almost like grilled asparagus a little bit.
Yes, it is actually like or Brussels sprouts, real Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, the palate is so good.
That's sensational.
Let's move on. Glentarret, Silver Seal Glentarret, bottle for the Old Alliance, 1977.
Just a 1977.
You're welcome. 36 years old.
ABV 46.5. It was bottled in 2014, you know, so 8 years ago. What's that?
I changed the glass because I put more on mine.
Oh, and then you felt a little bit bad. So you thought
I feel bad and I refill you. Yes, I'm good.
Yeah.
So, all right, we had Emmanuel last week. It was probably one of the most epic tastings we've done.
Yeah, it was next.
It was next level. Like the quality of the banter, the chat, the drams, you know.
He's a very humble man, and one that knows obviously a great deal, but you know, doesn't sugarcoat anything, tells it how it is. And
yeah, and I feel like if we stay there, we would have stayed there for another hour talking with him.
Yeah,
because he had to close the Old Alliance for 3 days because one of the staff got COVID. So he was just for us. They had nothing else to do on the day. And he had to isolate. So yeah, it was good. So yeah, with there might be another Old Alliance tasting coming in. First week of April, I think it is.
January, February, March, April. No, not that quick. February, March. Oh, maybe yes.
Yeah. I'm waiting for him to confirm, and it might be an epic tasting that once they sell out.
That'll be a mic drop tasting.
Yeah, mic drop. Everything drop. Panties drop. Everything.
But just like all these bottlings, this Glentarret is absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I'm trying to sort of like start to pick it apart. There's like a note there, like nuts, like a acorn or hazelnut or something, but it's a little bit more rich than that. Like,
my God,
with a bit of like fruit.
This was nothing like that. When do you remember when we opened it here?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago we opened it, freshly opened. It was a little bit subdued, but this is just.
It was huge. It was dry. Oh my Lord.
This is absolutely cracking.
This is like cashews, crushed cashews or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those ones and it's just got so many different waves. Like,
I was not envisioning this at all. I was actually quite disappointed when I firstly opened the bottle. It was quite dry and big. Of course, we did the same thing that we opened it. It was the same week that they arrived and something like that, you know. And,
wine gums on the nose from Don. I definitely get that actually. I was kind of feeling like a you know, those orange chocolate sort of vibes, which are like similar to wine gum.
I can smell like new packetry or new floorboards.
Yep, yeah. Oh, this is absolutely sensational. And
a bit of shoe glue. It's a very distinctive glue.
Shoe glue.
It's the one that makes you really happy when you walk into the shoe repair shop.
Being an old and rare tasting, normally we don't have any bottles available for sale, but this one there are a couple of. It is 1400 because it's a 1977 bottle, and you can see why, and I can certainly see it now. But I'll put the link in there if anyone does want to grab that or any other tastings. The code for tonight is old rare. Put that in there too. And, talk a little bit about other tastings and stuff later, but I think we need a couple of moments just to enjoy this jam.
Wow. Unbelievable, you put a drum on the back of a Lafroig like this, and suddenly it's like, boom. Like it's well, and I can define at this time, we've been already 50 minutes in a tasting, right? So basically, all our palate is turned on, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And you're so right, it always amazes
I go back to the Lafroig, it's like, woo, again, fantastic. Yeah. like you had slices on our nose, is the GD and pay from it, gin and tonic. There. Who was that? Let me just read that one. Nose on the Glentarret is a combo of green apple and pear. I get it very similar to that sort of course, this is a sherry one. This is, hang on. It doesn't say what is, if this is, I thought I had all the idea that this was sherry cask, but I don't know now. Okay.
It's got the color of sherry, but the profile that you probably would think maybe
it does smell a bit like the 1973 Space Side. You know? It has that sort of rancio. Now I get the rancio on this. I do get rancio on this.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's amazing how a bottle can change in a couple of weeks of being open. Like we know what happens, but it always amazes me. We tried this one as soon as we opened the bottle, and granted, we'd had a few drams before, but it just not like it just fell into the background for me a little bit. But now it's like it's absolutely shining.
Yeah. So wow. I forgot to turn this on and bring it back.
Hasn't done much of a wonder for the Glenfiddich, which I feel now is kind of like being pretty overshone by whatever else we can do.
The Glenfiddich is just kicks his own little its own little room there. Now the little bit is, for me, it's a bit more fruity now.
Yeah. Palette on the Ben Nevis is still really gorgeous. It's got a great amount of depth.
This is my 4th tasting of the day today. I'm not lying.
Number 4. So you're nice and warmed up then, Jose.
I've been drinking whiskey since 1. I'm pretty.
There are worse things.
Okay, I've been drinking a lot of water. It's just little tastes, you know. I had I had a team of Society coming in, the new bar from the Lucas Group, doing a staff training. Then I did a staff training from Van Foreman. Then I did a private tasting for a customer, and this is the 4th tasting I do today. So, but just tiny little bits. This one, I drank more on this one than on the all the other ones together.
Yeah.
But this is epic. We're not tasting this stuff with the other ones.
What did you try with the Brown Foreman one? Was it heaps of Ben Riach or? You allowed to say?
No, we tried Mike Glendronach's because I was showing them. I was training a rep, so I came with one of the reps and one of the new reps, and I showed them a lot of old stuff that I have open, and we're tasting some old Glendronach, some single cast to give you a perspective of the distillery, pretty much. So
you've got a good whiskey bar when you're training the reps.
Yeah, I happen to know the rep well from when I was working in the wine industry anyway. But but they was like, they asked me if they could come and we do a little bit of training, and happy. Yeah. They are good friends with us, so Linus always. Hopefully, we get some allocation of some stuff.
Couple of nice things here.
Couple of nice things here and there. Yeah. Wow, this is 77. Oh my God. Dom, what do you reckon?
Yeah, that Glentarret is not having tried it when you did, but this thing now, I'm just blown away. I love it. Absolutely love it. The nose of this thing for me is, I won't say it's my favorite nose of the night, because you can probably guess what my favorite nose of the night was so far. But my God, there's so much going on. But I was just about to write in there that I think I went back to the nose of the Little Mill, and it's got like white flowers on the nose for me now.
Of the Little Mill. It changes. Everything is like,
Yeah. No, it is. And these are, like we said from the start, John, I think it benefits by trying them all reasonably quickly and then just being able to spend a lot of time just going backwards and forwards, because these are the sorts of whiskies that are just evolving as the night goes on.
Totally agree. And you know who was a Silver Seal collection is Dave Phillips. He has several Silver Seals.
Hi, Jose.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, actually Silver Seal was something that most of my independent bottlers you've introduced me to, Jose, but it's actually, in this case, it was Jules. He had a bunch of Silver Seal. I don't know whether you remember, about 4 years ago. That's probably the first.
Correct.
And then I bought 3 or 4 off you as well. But so do you mind if I ask you a question about the Glenturret? So there's a Weber's Old Train Line 77 Glenturret, which is 35 years old.
Yeah.
Would that have been, I guess, the sister cask or from the same parcel around about the same time? Do you know?
They will all be same parcel.
Okay. All right. It's just that
there's several 77 Glenturrets. I have a couple here myself from Whisky Agency and Nectar. You know, it's all the same parcel.
Okay. Because it's unusual to find an old Glenturret, but then find several of them a year apart from the same year from different IBs. But so I was going to say I just went through the nose of all the glasses first because we're eating, so I didn't really want to taste it whilst we're eating. And I haven't yet tasted it, but the last one, the nose on the last one, the Talisker, isn't it? It was unbelievable. I mean, if you just do the nose all the way through, you get to a 12-year-old Talisker at the end, you think it's going to be pretty average, and it was unbelievable just on the nose. Again, all of mine are in the blender's glasses, so surprises, eh? I don't know why you put it last. Maybe that's why you put it last.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that with these drums, it's very difficult to go to a very important bottle, and then what do you expect? It's like the tasting is finished. You know, you guys play your biggest card. You know? I reckon that's why we're pretty much tasting the last bottle now, and we still have half an hour to go, and we just let it. Yeah.
And the Little Mill I actually really like now, and I've found it really hard to find a Little Mill I enjoy, and more importantly, one that would be worth buying. But this is pretty good actually. Delicate, nuanced, complex, all those different notes. So I agree with Don. So yeah, great taste. Okay.
The biggest problem with dead distilleries is that they don't have a profile that you can probably refer to. So it's buying blind unless you know the distillery. So that happens with Little Mill. Like you don't know what to expect from a bottler when you buy a Little Mill.
Yeah, so it's always a risk.
It's always a risk, unless you know the bottler or you can taste it before, you know. But you know, back when the distillery was still in operation and they were bottling and selling stuff, it was probably easier. All right, Jono, let's move on to the next one.
The big gun. What is that?
The Talisker DT, bottled by the Distillers Agency. Bottled by the Distillers Agency. This is before the company gets acquired by Johnny Walker, or United Distillers at that time, I think was the name. This one is 1970s. Even though has metric label in there, I'm almost certain that this is because it's an Australian import. This bottle has the metric because we changed metric between 75. And this is an Australian bottle or Australian import. So they would have to ship them with metric units, not imperial back then. Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
So what an
Let's enjoy.
Brand.
Legendary. A slightly peaty. It's like treacle and
epic.
Wow, it's lost all the bottle effect. This one, do you remember when we firstly opened this?
There's a little bit of bottle effect, yeah.
Quite a bit. I was
There's
disappointed
none,
about
there's
it. There's none now, almost.
And I think
it's like musk sticks and
Talisker is not the sort of thing that we really try every day in any IBs or anything like that. But obviously, everyone's familiar with their official bottlings because it's probably one of the first ones that people drink. And so to try an old bottling that is so vastly different than its modern day counterparts, obviously in terms of the peat being a lot more restrained, but the quality of the dram itself in terms of the profile, it's next level. So it's an absolutely stunning whiskey, Jose. This one that you were sort of like lucky enough to pick up, and it's one that I've seen in like a few whiskey catalogs and books and that sort of thing, is like almost like a bit of a legendary bottle. What made you sort of like pick this one up, and why do you think it's interesting?
I picked this bottle up because I considered that by the time, this is a very difficult bottle if you never done old and rare tastings and you don't know to understand the bottle. Like this is and I hope everyone that's on the tasting today understands the whiskey and can smell it, how nice it is. But if you haven't had your fair share of old and rare bottles, it's difficult to get the extent of this whiskey, how good it is. So I thought the group was kind of quite mature now for tasting this, you know?
Yeah, it's a big heavy.
It's not just, these are like, there is drums that are a little bit more, these drums that are a little bit more, let's say, upfront, like the 1970's, some of the single cask and everything. But when you're talking about these commercial bottlings that they were back on the day, they are difficult to understand if you don't have no reference of old and rare old and rare bottles. You might not understand what the fuss is about. You need a certain experience tasting bottles, and not just to get drawn by the old bottle effect and go like, oh, that just tastes like musk.
Yeah,
and that's it. Yes,
I get that, and there's not really much musk on this for me now. There was definitely at the start, but what a sensational dram, and I guess like that reference point to old drams that you kind of speak about is one that's probably pretty hard to have. But you know, imagining the ability for this, you know, back in the day was an everyday dram. You know, imagine if this was an everyday dram now. Something that we
this bottle, Paul, how much they're selling now for? You probably already.
I was going to ask you. I'll have a look.
I don't know. I think around $3,000. That will be the cost of a bottle of these ones today, pretty much. You know, we didn't pay this.
But you could pick up a Glenfiddich for about $20 if you like, from the same time period.
Yeah. It's around, on top of my head, the DT is around 800 to 1,200 pounds today to buy. But that's, you know.
Yeah, it's absolutely cracking whiskey. And the Glentarret as well was really turned on as well.
Wow. And I thought the Glentarret was good, and then you taste the DT, and the Glentarret for me went into a totally second tier. Like the nose is not there. The Taliskers are more fragrant, more strong. It's like a low. And the one that punches okay there, but it smells a bit like no, for me the Lafroy, like smoked almond.
Oh yeah,
smoked almonds is like the ones that you get in the business lounge. You know, smoked almonds in a little. Yeah. Or you buy on the side of the road in Queensland.
Or we'll get some on the way home.
Have you got a price for me yet? No.
Yeah, it's £620 this month. But then there was another one the beginning of the year for £700.
The DT or the Johnny Walker?
And then
It has the DT on the top. See the DT here? I can't see. Yeah, that's the 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 12.
Okay. 12 and the
mistake, right?
There's probably not too many that have come up.
That was the 8-year-old we had at Starwood, right, Jose?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was a Johnny Walker one. It was not DT.
Ah, that's right. It was the Johnny Walker, wasn't it?
Yeah. You can't find it. Anyway,
no pressure, Paul. Relax, no pressure.
What a nose. I wanna ask the news as well, boys.
Absolutely.
Sean, Guns, and what was the mate from Canada?
Moosey.
Moose. Yes.
As the sun's coming down.
Yeah. What do you guys reckon about this?
Have to find the mute button. What a cracking lineup. That Talisker blew me away. Totally blew me away. Outside of that, I find myself going back to the Ben Nevis. That's a beauty. So, but I think we're all having a blast. You know, just saying a Moose. He was talking about his whiskey story, and was just quite amazed at the selection tonight. So awesome work with lining them up.
Cheers, Shan. I'm glad you enjoyed this one.
Shan, yeah.
Good to hear.
Good to hear.
Is enjoying them as well. It's a bit of a cracking lineup to jump into, Moose. So you've been looked after by Shan and Gers there.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a privilege. The story was my uncle I was probably 17, 18. My uncle used to pour me a neat drink, and I couldn't get it past my nose for a number of years. And then one night we were at a mate's place, and the mood was right, and the whiskey was going, and it just clicked for me that night.
Yeah.
Then I've fallen in love. So.
Beautiful. Well, good to see your passion, and everyone's got one of those sort of moments where it kind of just clicks for sure.
And you taste epic drums, as you grow older, and you move up on the ladder, tasting better whiskeys.
Yeah.
As long as you don't stay on the same point, it's good.
Yeah.
I was just looking at Taliskers from the 70s, and the last one, like this one, got sold in a 2019 auction. So not so many.
2019, so we're talking almost 3 years ago.
Yeah. There will be some 80s.
So basically, it's not something you come across all the time, but it's something that a lot of people probably want. Could say it's as rare as hen's teeth.
Yeah.
Is that a screw cap or a cork?
Screw cap.
Yeah. Okay. But there's a cork in it now.
Yeah. The screw cap didn't. I had to break it up. Yeah. Because it was got loose. It's not great. There's some of them here. There's some 1980s, the Distillers agency for £1,000. There's some for £500. Who knows? There's some older bottlings. I need to examine the bottles a bit better.
And the fill level as well on a lot of those looks pretty low.
Yeah, this one, and very funny, interestingly enough, I once, before I bought this lot, I spoke with Carsten once, and he said, how do I know? And he said, you won't know until you buy them, because the fakes of this bottle are perfect. What do you mean with that? These are perfect, and you won't know until you open the bottle. Like, and that was Carsten, because I bought a bunch. So that was like, he said, they look on bottles, they look are original. You won't know until you drink the whiskey that is not the Talisker. I normally ask these questions when I buy kind of some rare bottles that, just to be sure on the sure side. But then that's when you see a cheap bottle going up, someone might not know, or like you might not know what other people know. That's why the bottle is going too cheap. They always, in whiskey, to be honest, always, we never trust something that's cheap. It doesn't happen,
Yeah, it's a pretty good tip.
Many.
Maybe we'll have
many honest auction sites.
Maybe we'll have to do a big old and rare at Whisky Abbey this year.
Oh yeah, man!
Beforehand, maybe crack open some really, really interesting things to.
Well, I reckon there's a few people. Emmanuel said he might come.
Yeah.
So that would be the best host to do an old and rare tasting.
Yeah, absolutely.
He brings his own stuff. We can afford it.
No, that'd be cracking. I reckon we everybody have a little bit of time and a bit of smell of these whiskies, and then we'll go around and get everyone's thoughts. And while everyone's having a little nose bag of these numbers, couple of tastings that are coming up for us tomorrow night. If anyone in Melbourne is about and wants to come in and try some interesting single cask highlights, we're doing an in-store tasting tomorrow night. I know that most of you Melbourne folk are coming in anyway, but for anyone who hasn't heard of it that wants to come in last minute, we've got some interesting single casks. We're going to have a fun little tasting here tomorrow night. Then next week after that, we've got a nectar tasting, the nectar part 2, sort of following on from the nectar part 1, which was the graduation ceremony, tasting a few interesting drams to round out sort of the nectar 15th anniversary celebration. The other one, which we're very excited about, is the whiskies of the world. So we've got a bloody lot of good bottles, but the ones that maybe didn't fall into a particular category. So we thought, let's do whiskies of the world and open them up.
This is stunning. All Alliance peated Irish whiskey, Amroot, lightly peated, an old Potrero, single cask, Cavalan for the Old Alliance.
The first single cask Penderin and the oldest Penderin bottled ever for Australia, and an Australian cask exclusive, an ex-Australian red wine barrels from a Rough Glen winery. So that's really good as well. It's like raspberry jam. It's beautiful. And then, of course, a little Akeshi, so we could stop by Japan as well.
Yeah, so we were going to call it not Australian. But a not Scotch, Ideally, we let's say we only have had, in 2 years of online tastings, we only have had one Cavalan and one Amroot, and that was on Amazon, the Whiskies tasting.
Yeah.
We had a couple of bourbons. We had a few Irishes.
We've had a couple of nice little Irishes.
Yeah, we haven't had any. Have one Penderin of the Artist, same tasting as we did the Cavalan and the Amroot. That's amazing.
It's different.
Yep. And then Keshi, we had no, we haven't had we did. No.
We've done a couple of Keshi tastings. Yeah, we have.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's going to be really cracking. Get involved in that one because all the drams are very, very vastly different. So yeah, a lot of the tastings that we've been doing particular independent bottlers that bottle whiskies in a particular way. This is more about the distilleries and their particular style. So I think that's going to be super interesting. And then just announced tonight is what we've called the Boutique Whiskey Company, the Big Guns tasting. So one that's been in the works for a while. If we wanted to do like a Boutique Whiskey Company tasting, we kind of wanted to do it in a Casa Vinos style.
How do we do something that, because we've never done a boutique whiskey tasting before, and we were talking, so how do we do a boutique tasting and we do a Casa de Vino style, right? We don't copy anyone's tasting, and we always try to go above and beyond anyone else. And suddenly this Macallan 28-year-old appears and Springbank 19-year-old appears, and I was like, ooh, that has our name on it. So the thing with these whiskeys is they also, as you guys know, they come in little minis of 50 mil. You can buy the full set of the official minis.
Yep.
50
so
mils.
They'll come the boutique labeled and everything, 50 mil pack.
50 mil packs, and you can decide if you open them or not. or you can buy our little miniatures.
And normal Casa de Vino
normal Casa de Vino style.
15 mil.
15 mils, and that is a bit more approachable. And, but if you want to have the 28-year-old Macallan, you need to buy the big in the 50 mil, like the original 28-year-old Macallan. One day worth money. Someone in Southeast Asia will pay a lot of money.
You get the Macallan anyway, even if it's in the 15 mil pack.
If you let me know, I'll get you a Macallan 50 mil. It's like $150 just for the Macallan, or $160 just for the Macallan. But
so that's going to be very fun tasting. Macallan, Springbank, Islay, 25-year-old, interesting Inchgower, Ben Riach, Bunnahabban, and Simon McGoran will be joining, and also Boutique Dave Worthington. So that'll be really fun.
So it's going to be good. Big drums, big whiskies. I think that could be the oldest Macallan we tasted in our tastings.
We tasted 25-year-old.
Yeah. And sherry, which is like probably, but this is a bourbon cask anyway. Yeah. So, but we far tasted all the Springbacks.
Yeah. That's going to be really good fun, man. And then for April as well and March, we're going to be popping a lot of interesting tastings in store as well. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit of a go back with these drams.
I just can't get over this Talisker, man. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, and you don't have to. Go the other way.
The Glentarret is very good.
It's sensational.
Yeah, very, very, very good. Wow. Let's finish the Glenfiddich.
And the hatch.
Look. Honey. Let's say Glenfiddich 8, 1970s. It's worth today, I think, between $300 and $400 a bottle. Tops,
yeah.
More 250, like 300. Same era, Talisker 12.
Yeah.
Maybe between 600 to 1,000 pounds a bottle.
We're talking about chalk and cheese, basically, is what we're talking about.
Yeah, they were both distilled and they were both bottled at in the same era, pretty much. Right. So it's, how do you see that? This Glenfiddich is you bought A and Z shares, and yeah. Talisker is if you got Bitcoin, suddenly went like poof. Not sure why. They taste a lot different. Eh?
Do you think that there is a tendency for whiskies with even just a small amount of peat to perhaps last a little bit longer as well?
Yes.
So, there's probably something in that as well. The Glenfiddich probably back then would have been pure fruit as well.
I can know. Too
long.
Dom, what's happening down those nostrils?
They're getting a great workout. They're getting a great workout this evening. And they're really just jumping around from glass to glass and just trying to actually follow all the changes that are going on. I still cannot get over how wine gummy sweet that Glentarret is to my nose. It is just incredibly sweet to me.
I agree. What is your favorite, Dom?
The Talisker has just blown me away because it's just such lovely whiskey. I mean, the Lafroig I've tried before with you, Jose, and I love that. I mean, it's rare. The weakest one in the bunch, and it's not fair, is really the Glenfiddich because it really is sandpaper now compared to the rest of them. It really is just something to wipe over the palate to prepare you for something else. And bizarrely, my weakest one of the ones that are going to count is, and I think it's a great whiskey, is the Ben Nevis for me. That's my least favourite of the bunch, which is very unusual because I love Ben Nevis. I absolutely love it. And this one's a great one. But to me, when I compare it against the other four, it's probably my least favorite of those five.
Yeah. Suddenly the little milk got pure dulce de leche for me.
Well, it's just that you're absolutely right. Now it's got this vanilla sort of milky thing that just wasn't there 10 minutes ago. Yes, just no. The little mill's pretty incredible as well. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Nostrils are having real moments.
Good to hear that. We have those times too. Yeah. I don't know who else to. Carl, what do you reckon? What was this Talisker what you expected? It was above, it's below.
No, I think it's pretty much what I expected, in the sense that you wouldn't put it in a tasting if it wasn't to be worth having a go at. So I fully expected that. But yeah, it's not really like anything I've sort of tried or smelt or tasted before. It's really, the maritime notes just are really strong. But I get a sort of a diesel, like being in a port, sitting next to a port where the boats are coming in, that sort of smell.
Like a dirty diesel PT, something like
that.
Burnt
fuel. Which is just fantastic. I mean, I don't think I've ever had that on any whiskey. You get your maritime notes, but you don't get that.
Like driving behind an old truck.
Yeah, basically. But
an old fish truck.
But yeah, no, fantastic. And I'm with everyone else, I think, who said it so far. There's sort of just so many you could pick as a favorite, because they've got so many different things about them. But it's always hard to go past a Lafroy. I find a good one. It's it always stands out.
I agree. The Lafroy is punching well above its specs.
Oh yeah, but I think we kind of knew it would.
Yeah, with the provenance.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning.
This will be the only bottle of GT open in the country. Well, no, at least on a public venue. Opening, yeah, I would say.
There might be one in the back up in an attic somewhere that's open with a few drams left in it.
Would it be? Yeah.
Well, it'd be amazing to, because this is an Australian bottle, right?
So correct.
You think about it, someone might have one sitting in their grandma's loft or something. Geez, that'd be a good one to roll into. But the trouble is, it was all kind of like blended whiskey in Australia was kind of a hype in like the 70s.
So it was cheap.
Yeah, Crown Royale and like that sort of thing was like the most common thing drunk by in people in more of like a business sense, like banking and that sort of thing. They drink like Crown Royale and that sort of thing, not single malt.
Paul, what do you reckon?
Oh, there we are. Pretty tough decision tonight. I mean, I really I'm getting like some real nice fruits on the Talisker. So I'd probably sit with that. Lafroy, it's always amazing. Glenturret's, I'm getting some, again, really good fruits there, which is kind of where my palate's heading. What bottle would I buy? It's probably a good question. I'd probably try and seek out that Talisker though. I think for me, it's a really interesting dram.
You want to trade my Talisker for your Lafroy? The Long John?
I reckon I'll find another one of those before that would happen.
Yeah, by the time you find one of these ones, it will cost you an arm and a leg. See the upside, you only pay $1,000 for a bottle of these ones, kind of like 12, so it'll be like a really cheap Talisker you purchase.
No one's tried that Lafroy yet, and I'm asking the big hitters. So I'm kind of
big. Yeah.
All right, boys, save it for private chat.
I send you a PM. We keep trying. We keep making offers for Paul's Lafroy, but we buy it to open it. God, this is like going out with a pretty woman. You want him as it's making himself difficult. I need to have a little bit more. Let's say, I don't know.
Jose, stop the analogy right now, please. Stop the analogy right now. It's going to get disturbing. It's going to get disturbing.
I actually found this Talisker absolutely stunning. This is, I think after tasting so many whiskeys and everything is, you get to understand bottles like this. If we had put it a Talisker like this, maybe a year ago, you probably would have not fit it. We don't understand. Not everyone will be probably yet there to understand it. Also, you need to have a decent amount of bottles to build up to it, to understand. Hopefully we get to buy I would really like to be able to buy, I always have other things that I end up buying, but I would really like to open a Kleinelish Angel and Heilbronn release. That would be
green label?
Yeah.
Green label one, yeah? Red and green.
Or the white label or you got one?
I had a sample of one of the, it was a while back. I wasn't too impressed. It was pretty low ABV. I think it was one of the lower end ones, and I've had better recent bottlings. So,
where do you get your sample from? Like
Whiskey Auctioneer. Screw cap. I've probably got the bottle floating around somewhere. I'll try to find
it. How they were selling a sample? Like it was like you get like a mini. It was a mini.
Remember when I contacted you and was having issues with customs trying to get it in?
Oh, it was that for a mini.
That one, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we want a big bottle. Either the 5-year-old, there's a 5-year-old or 10-year-old, or the red and yellow, or the red and yellow label. The one it's
Yeah, it was a red and brown label. I think
that one, red and brown, yeah.
40%. It was nice, but I've had
there is a 57% of that. It was like $3,000. It's crazy. But hello. My dog just got in, just by the way. So and my wife too, and told them to finish at 8:30. They are here at 8:25.
Aptly named dog.
He's never this on time ever.
It's okay,
Yeah. Sit down, have a drink.
No, I'll take out. Can you do that?
Oh no! I'm not gonna be. Just go.
Well,
sorry.
It's a question now of should Jose Uber or not, which is it's a 50-50 question at this stage.
Well, if she goes, I can drive. Like she has the car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think you'd be driving the car anyway, but.
No, I won't. I made that decision. I make that decision around like 2 p.m. today. Yeah. I got sustained around 5 and 7 again.
Absolutely.
We put it up for debate.
I'm loving this. This tasting's been absolutely exceptional. If anyone's got any questions for Jose about any bottles or anything, shout out or put them in the chat. Because it's been an interesting lineup, and I think putting it together and having the sort of older bottle in terms of the age statement, and then the older in terms of the actual age of the bottle itself. The way that these put together is a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed this tonight. For me, I think the Little Mill is sensational, but the Glenturret, Talisker took the cake. But if I had to buy a bottle blind, right, and I didn't know what any of these were, I think that if I had the Lefroy, then I'd probably take one of those. Even though the Glenturret is super unctuous and a really beautiful, huge palate, the Lefroy for me, just with the smoke turning into the fruit, I struggle to compare that with anything, and I find that very interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Little Mill now is showing up really good character. Like really good character now, the Little Mill. Pretty good tasting what we did. I don't want to finish that Talisker. I could not sit on
that. Take it and wrap your glad wrap around and get it on there. Keep that on there for a while. That could be one to take to bed.
Put a cotton and chuff it in.
Yeah.
We got cotton bud. Yeah, get it. Yeah, straw. Well, I think we recapped everything. We got 2 tastings coming in. The boutique tasting. We yet haven't organized tasting after that, but there will be a couple coming. We're working on a couple more ideas.
Yeah. The one with Emmanuel is going to be epic if it comes together.
If it comes together, he just needs to say, he said yes, but he hasn't confirmed the date. So it's going to be big. Like big. Like pretty epic. I can't say anything now.
Can't tease.
It will sell out. But even if we don't sell out, like I gotta find a way not to sell tasters to people that don't come to the tasting.
It will be
because I'd rather keep the leftover of the bottles for myself, like that kind of level. Because many of these ones is like 1 bottle and no more.
Yeah. You just got to send the invites to the usual people, Jose.
That's the way to do it.
Of course, we just keep it us.
Keep it quiet. Keep it to us.
Keep it quiet. Yeah, this one. And and Whisky Abbey.
Whisky Abbey, locked in. Put it in your diary, particularly you interstate folks. It'll be amazing to see all of you this year, and that includes both of you Leylands. I don't know what excuse you had last year, but we can't have it again this year. Get down there.
Yeah.
Let's get it happening. It's going to be very
Let's make it happening. We get the VIP. And
the Belvedere.
The Belvedere 6 liter that turns the light on. Belvedere package. Yeah. With Red Bulls and.
Absolutely.
Yeah. COVID's everywhere now, so it's safe. It's true. Yeah. No one's going to complain about
there's not going to be any density sort of quotas or anything going on. We'll be pretty good to roll with that one. No, it's super exciting. It's going to be an absolutely epic night. But once again, Jose, cracking tasting, awesome bottles. It's not fair, Jose. You should have one in Sydney. Well, I mean, Jackie, you can always pop down to Melbourne, surely.
Yeah, how about Whisky Abbey in Sydney? Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
we just need to work on a venue. We will get there one day. I'm not sure when.
Whisky Abbey Queensland will be the big one. I'm looking forward for that. Whisky Abbey Gold Coast edition. It'll be a stand there. You can get tattoos.
Where's your pay? It's gone. The branch, the Leyland could be Paul could be our representative over there.
Oh, absolutely.
He could have the Queensland branch.
Yeah, we could have it at Playland.
Yeah. Well, this has been good.
Yeah, awesome tasting. Thanks for cracking open such sensational bottles, and thanks everyone for joining us. What a great night.
I'm gonna stop there.